Hey everyone, Nick Engvall here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about some of the people that make the sneaker history community and this podcast possible. It's more important than ever to think about who you give your money to when you're buying clothing to go with your kicks. Our friends at Guilty Goods started their brand with a goal of giving back, especially to the communities that make sneaker culture possible. With every purchase from Guilty Goods, at least 10% of the proceeds are donated to organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Movement for Black Lives, and many more. You can save 30% on your order by using the code HISTORY at guiltygoods.us. Again, that's history at guiltygoods.us for 30% off, and you can feel good about your purchase knowing you're supporting a meaningful cause. Sneakers are all about presentation, and if you're like me, displaying your kicks at home or in the office is just as important as when they're on your feet. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of the shoe, not just the heel or the toe, the whole shoe. They've also got display cases for trading card collectors and hat collectors. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save at least 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. If you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of sneaker history and the podcast since the early days. He's currently the defending champion in our community trivia nights competition. Kicks with V hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. You can save 10% on your order by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. Now, you're probably here because you like sneakers, and if you join the Discord, you know our community is about so much more than that. Whether it's the marathon-like community calls, trivia night debates, the in-person meetups, or just sharing our favorite experiences, we found that although we have such different backgrounds, we all have some unexpected shared passions. Not only does the entire community look out for each other when it comes to releases, we're like a support group for life in general. You can join the Discord community for free by heading to the show notes of this episode. After you're done listening to this episode, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Now let's get into today's episode.
Welcome to another episode of the Sneaker History Podcast. I'm Robbie, here with two distinguished gentlemen, like they're wearing bow ties, Mike and Rohit. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. I don't know why Backstreet Boys popped in my head when you said everybody, but that's neither here or there.
Call that the typewriter.
See, we're all on the same page.
AKA Murder, She Wrote.
Ro just rocks his body right, man.
I wish I could body roll to that, but you know what? I'm glad. I was always Team Backstreet instead of Team NSYNC because it's truly like, do you want the star talent in Justin Timberlake or do you want the complete team? And Mike, like me, big San Antonio Spurs fan that he is, he wants the complete team. So Backstreet's back, even though they never left.
Oh my God, that's Mike again.
All the time.
Brother, sisters, everybody sing.
Well, okay, that's like one polarizing question. I guess we could ask all our millennials and up, are you Team NSYNC or are you Team Backstreet Boys? But before we started recording, we accidentally came across a topic of Pepsi versus Coke. And I think all three of us are Team Coca-Cola. Listener, what are you? Drop a comment. Leave a review just saying Coke. It's kind of weird, but if you want to, go for it.
I mean, yeah, whatever floats your boat, right?
Like that 1894 recipe of Coca-Cola.
That hard black and white.
The medicine you got from...
Just let us know if you like Backstreet Boys and Pepsi or NSYNC and Coca-Cola. Happy to hear what you have going on in your life. Anywho, fun-filled episode today. We're going to be talking about some backdoor shoes, some new signature models, some unique Nike ID options to existing models and new models, and a preview of what's going to come for some fall sneakers. So before we get there, let's do a little rocking and copping.
Cool.
I have a pair of shoes right here. Does anybody else particularly want to go? Mine's just an easy grab.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you guys are, so I'll throw mine up.
Go ahead, Mike.
So, rocking is the Puma Deviate Nitro 2. Been getting running, haven't really been doing much else, but if you haven't tried these out, these are solid. I know, Robbie, you have a pair of these too, I think in that Volt color.
Yeah.
Super solid runner. Very comfortable, very springy, so cool shoe to run in. Topping, we're looking at the Airflight Huarache in the Kobe colorway that is supposed to be coming out here soon, according to sneakers. The first pair sold out, surprisingly, so I have little hope that I'm going to be able to just go in and get them, so we'll see. Fingers crossed, I guess.
Mike, you're a deviant. But go ahead, Rohit.
No, I was going to say, I kind of want to do a double click down because I think Mike is one of the nicest people I know. I was going to say, your fingers crossed led me to this, which is two things. It's the model shoe I wore today, which was the Kobe X.
Nice.
I believe these were the Elites. This is the Brett the Hitman Hart colorway, the excellence of execution. Best there is, the best there was, best there ever will be. And the X also represents what we're all hopefully copying tomorrow, which is the X-Men A6 Kith line. Please, let us all benefit from Charles Xavier's brilliance. I don't mind if I get a t-shirt. I don't mind if I get a hat. As a famous person on this panel once said, if you can't dress Kith. Is that right, Robbie? I'm trying to borrow from your deep... Go ahead.
Bars?
No, you were 99.7% there. If you can't dress, just wear Kith. It'll figure itself out for you.
And
Rohit isn't going to be like Dante Hall and throw up the X. That's a Chiefs reference.
is there any particular... By the way, two things. I love the episode, and I would like to add this random X-Men to the canon of Memba berries that you guys were doing in last week's episode. Where was my Omega Red love? That's what I want to know.
See, look, we were just rattling off stuff. We stayed in for like 5 minutes after the recording and still kept naming crap off too. We're ridiculous. But I forgot Omega Red. That was definitely a solid villain to have on there.
Not a bad one at all.
And what is the signature piece of apparel do you guys like from that collection? Because I know the shoes are getting all the hype, and rightfully so, but there's some fire t-shirts and those sweaters with
the hoodies. The all-over print hoodies. Oh my god.
Okay.
That and then the varsity or bombers. I mean, honestly, any of it, I would wear it all for the rest of the year, but if I had to pick something, to be the hoodies and the bombers.
Yeah, personally, it's the bomber jacket because I'll be at New York Comic Con and I want to wear a jacket. So I already have my X-Men t-shirt from Bait planned, so I don't want to I can't just cover it up, so I want to wear the bomber.
Let it fly.
And also just that Xavier Institute sweater is very nice also.
I like that.
That is definitely what I'm trying to cop to. Like a really big high level cop is I want a pair of New Balance 9060s. Those things never go on sale. I mean, they're hot right now, so they don't go on sale, but I tried a pair on in London like a month and a half ago now, and they stuck with me. I really enjoyed them. I'm just not trying to pay retail.
That's
I also
a chunky one, right?
It's the double chunky one.
Yeah, okay.
Also, the Air Max 1 Chili has been sitting, and I also quite like that colorway. What I've been rocking today, I rocked the Shadow Jordania 1. Yeah, it's funny because I've been wearing the TZ Pump by Reebok. I've been wearing, that's it, as in like high top basketball retro shoes. But it's like everybody's just trying to chase this puppy. They're good. A lot of good stuff in the world. A lot of bad stuff in the world. Mike, I feel like you have like a bad, not a bad story, but you were perturbed, bothered a little bit by a Nike SB news story that I believe Nice Kicks, dropped.
Yeah,
spearheaded.
Well,
Tell us.
I don't think they dropped it. They followed up because initial so how it all started was this reseller. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't dig into his name, and I don't want to give him the clout of saying his name again anyway. But he, like resellers do, found a way to get a stock of the what the clot or clot with the dunk, whatever they're calling it, dunk that they're coming out with as clot's into their relationship with Nike, which is kind of a big deal. But he showed it off. You know how they all do. Oh, look, I got 50 million pairs. Apparently, Edison Chin, founder of Clot, reached out to say, hey, how did you get these early? And so the story has two sides to it. You have the side of the reseller who's like, oh, I never got these from Edison, but he reached out. He respected my hustle. Now he's gifted me a friends and family pair of the shoe, which makes you want to slap everybody. Then you have the other side of the story of where Edison's like, oh, he gave up his plug, so I rewarded him for it. I'm like, he still has 50 pairs of your shoes that now 50 people can't get for retail. You gave him another one. So either way, I think it's just a bad look. It's not my money. It's not my shoes. It's whatever. But it's just, if you're with Nike, who's trying to control resellers and botting and things like that, I think it's a bad look to the community because, I mean, I don't know what he could do. I mean, honestly, he could, I don't know if he go to his house and just go take the shoes back or whatever it may be, but it is one of those things like you rewarded somebody for trying to do the thing that Nike's trying to stop who you're partnered with for the time being. So to me, I feel like it's just overall, it's like you just basically is like, oh, we're spitting in the face of the people who may have wanted the shoe to actually wear it, or I don't know what people's purpose or where to collect it because they were fans of your brand, but I've seen a lot of people are just like, well, screw this guy, I'm not even going to try anymore because he doesn't care about me as a consumer. So that's my issue.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. On the one hand, I get that you're trying to get information about your product and you're still hoping to get it in the consumer's hands by the karmic right way, so to speak, even though there's no right or wrong way. If you've got the money and people are willing to sell it to you, I guess that's life. But yeah, just something about it just reeked of a little too desperation from both parties. It's almost as if to say, hey, you know what? I don't like your reselling, but I like the cut of your jib. I like your industry. I like your chutzpah. I'm going to reward you, but don't do it again. And great, if that's what it is. But then I don't understand why broadcast this to the world. Because then that's also setting the wrong example. And more, you're going to see, in the terms of NBA parlance, a copycat league. If one person is going to do this, it's only going to trigger 5 to 10 people more.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I think you said you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, and I think that's very true. I mean, it's just, I'm personally have been sick of just seeing resellers with like their millions of pairs. You want to make your money, fantastic, and I get a lot of that is building your brand, and I guess to a lot of people who are impressionable, that is brand building, showing off what you have. So it's like cornball activities. I'm not going to front like I really follow Clot. I've never bought a Clot shoe. Not because I don't like them, just I don't have a personal experience with the brand. So I'm like, whatever. So I don't know. I think the What the Clot doesn't look that good as a shoe. Also, is that a hot take, or do you guys also?
It's not the best looking dunk. I mean, it's one of those things like it was not a personal like, I want to go buy this shoe. Just more of like, I got one of those yelling at the cloud moments. I was like, why are we doing this kind of deal? Because I like the Air Maxes. I have the Kiss of Death, the remaster they did in 2021, 2020.
The clear ones.
Yeah, I was a fan of those. It was something that when I was a kid growing up, that's one of those first pairs that really like caught my eye. When you're getting into it and Nike talk all that good stuff. But it was just one of those I finally got. I wanted to collect the set because they're like $80 on. Just around now, but it's like when you see the person who like, oh, cool, thanks for creating this, something I really liked, and then they go and it's like, again, I don't think pacify the behavior, but reward the behavior of this the nonsense, the freaking cornball crap of showing off of, oh, I backdoored X amount of shoes. Hey, who knows if they're even real? Like, this dude may have just scammed a friends and family pair with a bunch of fakes. So, who knows? So, really, it's just one of those things, like you said, you didn't have to broadcast. I mean, resellers going to broadcast, but I don't know what Edison had to gain from even the communication with this person. Like, again, you're not going to his house to get the shoes back. Clearly, you were going to reward him for, I guess they're saying, like, he's snitching now, he got rewarded for snitching, but it's like, all you did was make yourself look bad in the process, because now people are going to be mad you gave it to him, but to Rohit's point, now you just created a copycat league, because guess what? Let's say James Whitner releases something, let's say Alma Munir airship coming out. Some guy is going to snake about 50 pairs of those and like, if I do this, I get a special pair from James Whitner for being industrious and taking a step to make money, because they're all about, building, through inner cities and stuff like that. So people are just going to get these crazy ideas and it's, it is what it is, right?
Not only that, they're going to get crazy ideas. Guess what? It's not going to happen more than likely. So
No,
you're doing
not at
this
all.
all for naught. You're doing this for the worst type of clout, which is fake clout.
All the time. That's what the drug of social media. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, so it's in one hand is entrepreneur-ish. I don't want to say entrepreneurship because I don't think it completely is, but it's some level of what our grandparents would say, oh, initiative. When I was your age, I was out,
I was out in these
selling ice to,
Eskimos.
yeah, when
Water to a whale or water to a well? I mean, we still don't know.
Either one works.
it's very easy for us to be like old men yelling at the sky. But I mean,
That's what I felt like.
here's one thing that like is going to make me old man. 2 points that's going to make me old man yell into a sky. So, the Nike by You, I want to call it ID every time, but it's Nike by You.
It's ID.
Has the Dunk back on with some really cool features for $170, and I believe it's gone up like $20 or $40 in the last 6 months on Nike ID. And I'm also just like taking a little gander. I am currently customizing a really cute pair of Nike Infinity 3. But here's what's crazy: the Infinity 3 is $190, and for better or for worse, however you feel about React Foam, it's real modern tech versus $20 less for just you want a Nike Dunk. Like that's blasphemous. Like, how do you guys feel about a Nike Dunk ID costing $100? How does it make you feel at costing $170
like it's going to
versus
stay there on the
$190?
Nike website. It's going to stay there on the website because there's no way. Because only time I've ever seen nice materials is when you get like the anniversary. Like I did a Air Force One from the whatever the anniversary was last year. Super nice materials, but those weren't even once. I think like those were like 140, 130, something like that. Super nice. But I've seen the IDs from the Dunks. They are actual cardboard. And there's no way I'm buying that. And I, like you said, the React Infinity 3, I own a pair of those. I won't run in them because I think they're too soft, but for a daily walk-around shoe, fantastic. I would much rather do that over a Dunk.
Yeah, I mean, that defeats the whole purpose of the Dunk, right? Like, the shoe's history, because we are the Sneaker History Podcast, please like, rate, subscribe, do all those great things, is the fact that it was affordable, and you could buy bulk, you could rip them to shreds, then put on a new pair, and not even bat an eyelid. And not only that, the biggest issue I always had with previous Dunk releases in the modern day Nike by You era was I wasn't even allowed to properly color block certain sneakers the way I wanted. Like, the minute you pick certain colors, you can't use them again, and that defeats the whole purpose of it. It's not Nike sometimes for you. It's supposed to be Nike by You. It's not a seasonal thing. Like, I should be allowed to customize every aspect of the sneaker. And, like, this is my rant. I don't even mind paying extra. I don't even mind if the materials are subpar or less than stellar. Where I do mind is you stifling creativity. You stifling the very foundation of what that platform is built on.
You're stifling is trifling.
Stifling is trifling. If the glove fits, you must acquit.
But I mean,
Go
Mike.
ahead. Go ahead. I have a question about the ID, or I'm going to call it ID forever because that's just what I know it as. It used to be, hey, these are blank slate sneakers. Create them, put them in your little locker. When you have the money, go buy them. Now, it's just like a sneakers release. I have to rush and do it because now they're selling out too. So not only is it $170, but now they can just shut it off whenever. I'm like, all right. So it took almost the joy out of it. I feel like for people who are, who remember Nike ID, or even kids now who just want to sit there and create all these different ones. And again, when they get their money right, cool. I'm gonna go with my favorite that I created. Now it's like, hey, you got a week, bro. Figure it out. It's like, it kind of sucks.
Man, and I was even looking 170 for the low and high top. It doesn't matter what size you get, you're getting stuck with that. No, here's a funny post I saw at ATATF earlier. Make sure you're following KO's account there if you're not. But it says, well, it's a repost from somebody else. But a lot of y'all proving that these Nike by You dunks, you can't deliver any more than the brand you complain about, doing the same stuff over and over again. And that's so true. I mean, like a lot of the IDs people post, I'll see on like Instagram or Threads. It's like, oh my god, yeah. It's just like, okay, super original. But I mean, here's some other shoes. So for $200, you can get a Nike Air Max 90 Futura, which is just like a little spicy Air Max 90.
Okay.
For $10 less, you can get a Huarache Craft, which I didn't know they were still making that shoe again. They must have found some laying around. $195, you can get an Air Max 97, which full length Air Max. That's either good or bad to you. Here's also a wild thing: $215 for an Air Max 95, $195 for an Air Max 97. Why is the Air Max 95 so much more than an Air Max 97? That's a little weird. Mike, like you said, the Air Force One holding true at about 140, which is like, I mean, that's a premium, but I think they're 110 now or 120 for a pair of white on whites now. I think they've definitely been raised over 90.
Yeah, they popped up.
110. So $30 more for some spicy options are not bad. Now, personally, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think the best place for Nike ID is for those team sports rights. I'm seeing, soccer cleats here. I'm seeing football cleats. That's where I would be really excited for Nike by You is if I was on any level of sportsman and I can't afford a Dan Gamach custom, I would just go ahead and hit this Nike ID. But I mean, Rohit, you brought up the Sabrina Ionescu being on Nike ID, and I think that's a real sweet price point / colorway option region. And I think what is kind of unfortunate is that like Nike will bring out the cool stuff for the new stuff, the cool options for the new models, but like the dunk gets super pleather like Mike was describing earlier. It's unfortunate. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Mike, you said you bought a pair of Air Force Ones. Have you ever had another pair of Nike by Yous in your life?
So I only got two, so it just happened. I wish, man, this stupid pile of shoe boxes wasn't so dang tall and they were in the right places. So I've had two pairs of Air Force Ones. One I did crap. It's literally vinyl, feels like. But then again, I got, because, we're all free Nike members, I was invited to do the anniversary. Totally different. It feels like the nicest leather I've ever put my feet in. Actually, it's so different that the Air Force Ones actually fit completely different than each other. Air Force typically have that extra room in the toe box.
Yeah.
You get the premium one if leather actually sits on your foot nicely, and I paid the same price for both. But it's just like, I don't want to deal with that crapshoot, because only reason I did it because I had gift cards where I can actually finally experiment with it and not feel like I'm wasting money. But it's just, I did it. It's out of my system. I don't think I ever want to do it again.
So I've done two pairs, both the Kobe 9 and Kobe 10, both Mamba moments.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Only time they've ever gotten me to, because I don't like Nike by You. I've never liked Nike by You. When I used to play like Open Run when I was a younger kid, I used to see people with Nike by Yous, and multiple people have been like, yeah, like the shoe split or like around this, like they're not built the same as like a mass-produced GR. In some occasions, that's not like a case study or anything, but I've just never really sought them. Rohit, have you ever done a Nike by You? You're on mute also, my friend.
Thank you for that. I was having Roomba trouble, and if you have that in your bingo card, by all means, place it, and hopefully you've got the 5 in a row you need to yell bingo. No, I was going to say this. As an intern, we were gifted a pair of Nike IDs at the end of our first summer there, so that's where my immortal Ninja Turtle dunks were born. in our second year of internships, we were also given a pair of IDs, but ironically, we were only allowed to pick between 5 styles, which was not as fun. And that's the pattern I noticed with Nike by You is when you first start out with Nike by You, the world truly is your oyster. You can customize any and everything. And I remember specifically being basketball-centric as most of us are. Like, you could have a Kobe Nike by You. You could have had a LeBron Nike by You, a KD Nike by You. Now, when I look at it, I'll be fortunate if we get even something with the likes of a Giannis Nike for You. So the Sabrina Flashpoint for me is really interesting because I think it shows a lot of faith. And based on the limited designs that I saw people experimenting with when that link went live, even if for no other reason, just to kind of give Nike that barometer of, okay, if we do put this on ID for you, this is what it's going to generate in terms of interest and hopefully revenue.
Yeah.
I was impressed with people's design. Like, not to beat a dead horse, I saw a similar pink and gray paired like the Kobe 10s I wore at the start of this episode that somebody had flipped on the Sabrina 1 colorway. That's exciting.
Nice.
That's exotic. Like, that's something I would love to see. I just hope we are allowed to fulfill that promise because there's almost, dare I say it, a 33.3% chance that we may never get to ID that shoe. And that's what's going to be even more infuriating. So, I mean, I'm ready for both shoes to drop, so to speak. I'm ready to customize, I'm ready to have limited customization, and I'm also ready to the fact that this was just an anomaly. This was a canary in the coal mine that just withered away the deeper and deeper it got into the coal mine.
I also saw a 5 rings Kobe inspired one from my friend Stanley. That was a lovely looking option. Speaking of lovely looking options, we have a pivot from Nike basketball, just from a Sabrina perspective, to the Adidas Trae Young 3, which is quite a departure from, I think, basketball shoes in general, which is not a bad thing. I think they look great. The kind of topographic map-looking midsole, I think, is really interesting. Reminds me of those slides Adidas kind of got some publicity over. I won't say they're good or bad, but they made some slides that kind of look like that. And they have kind of just like a young, no pun intended to Trey, but like they just kind of feel like young and fun. Like I don't know how to best describe it. Trae Young isn't everybody's cup of tea, and these shoes aren't everybody's cup of tea, but he probably means a lot more to like younger kids than we are collectively. And I think that's sweet, man, because these shoes are something different, and all the cool shoes we hold in high regard, like I see Aaron Cooper's all over the internet, like making the rounds on sneaker stuff. Like his designs stuck with us 20 years later. So maybe these designs now from Adidas basketball are going to do the same thing for people who were, 14 to 18 now. And that'd be really cool.
Adidas is coming for everyone's neck for this next basketball season, I feel like. We saw the initial preview they put up in a couple months back, showing they previewed this one the Dame 9 now 8, I can't remember, but the next Dame coming out, which looks pretty solid. You even have the 9. Okay, you have the 9. You have the Adidas Infinity, Crazy Infinity 2.5. You have all this stuff coming out from Adidas now that has this really different look. They're moved away from everything almost looking like a team shoe where you can just kind of put them in, take everyone's name off, and I don't know who it's for. They're getting individualized again, back to the era of like D Rose. So I like what Adidas is doing. I'm not a big Trae Young fan, not because I dislike him. I just don't watch Atlanta. This is like not a widely broadcast team, and I just think that I like it. I like what they're doing. I like the direction. I like that they're taking chances and putting something like that topographic look on that soul kit. I like it. I can't say anything bad. I don't know what they feel like. It could be trash on foot, but the look at least is going to get us talking about it. It's going to get kids excited about it with these different colorways. It's going to have some kind of New York inspired one because he's the ultimate villain in MSG right now every time he goes there. So I can appreciate that Adidas is trying. I don't know who's over all of that department right now. I don't know if it is Jerry Lorenzo who has his 2 cents in there now or whatever it may be. Whatever's changed, keep it up, I guess.
Yeah, and to your point, he is the modern-day Reggie Miller in that sense of New York essentially is what put him on that next level. He's a great player. Mm-hmm. Infuriating to watch if you like a basketball a certain way, but credit is credit. Game recognized game, and he looks real familiar. And to both my co-host points, the shoe's wavy. And I'm saying that as a 35-year-old father of one. I don't even know what that word meant. I feel kind of underconfident as I bring it out in public places like this. But it's not for me, but I respect it. And most importantly, it's provocative. It gets the people going. That's why we want from our sneakers. So I hope he balls so hard that mother effers want to find him and buy more of his sneakers. So we get a Trey 4 that's equally outlandish.
The fact that you put at least 8 bars from that song into your rant, I can appreciate everything that just happened there.
Mike, you're the people. He got you going.
He got me going. I was like, keep going. Let's see what it takes us.
I'm just not going to do it 11 times the way that those two would do that on the Watch the Throne tour. Because that was something like, I remember having conversations with friends that were all over the country saying, like, how many times did they perform it for you? Oh, you guys only got 3? You bunch of nerds. We got it for 8. And then I had a buddy who I believe saw it in Amsterdam, or actually in Paris, where I believe the record was 11 times.
That's so much.
I've listened to that song 11 times live. I mean,
in a row.
Mike,
that's an entire concert set for somebody. That's somebody's entire discography.
Like, can
anyway,
we change
I digress.
songs, please?
I would have been down still. I mean, Mike in his house, because his kid's a little bit older, Mike plays Watch the Tone.
Hey.
Like, you know, dad joke
we
there.
gotta watch this happen around here. Go like, oh, don't say that.
Watch the tone.
Watch the tone.
Oops, that's my bad. That's sorry, guys.
Mike, chalk that up to another name for our Dad's Only podcast when Robbie has
Watch
his.
the tone. We'll tag that one as another possibility. I like it.
Well, speaking of just dad things, when we were these young whippersnappers age, we had things like the Air Jordan 5 Maroon, and that shoe's coming back. We got the Jordan 8 playoff and like the cool playoff colorway, duh. And outside of that, man, there's some interesting colorways from Jordan brand. I don't know, like, wasn't the year the 2, correct me please if I'm wrong, didn't like the Jordan 2 stuff happen last year, or was that earlier this year? Was like the Jordan 2 Chicago this year?
Started last year with All-Star Weekend with the was that last year or 2 years ago with the Off-White 2s? I don't know where I am. Time's just but started
circle.
there, but it's been like the last year and a half, and literally they can't win for losing with that one because it's I don't mind it, but it's like they're just sitting like there's nothing that is making waves with that shoe at this point.
There's a lot of Jordan 2 colorways. There's literally 4 here I'm seeing. Take 2 high tops, 2 low tops. That's just a choice. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but
I like it. It's good. I think it's good for people to have options. I mean, that navy, the white, black, and navy pairs coming out with the age clear bottom, I think it looks really good. But it's gonna hang around instead, I would guess. But yeah, I think it's nice to have options. Maybe you can't get the 1, but god dang it, look, we got a 2 sitting here.
Damn it, Bobby. I don't see why we're disrespecting the 2 like that. Actually, that was not Hank Hill. I'm sorry. I'm putting myself in this corner for that.
I mean, there's some cool looking like earth tones and like grays. I think another popular one's like the black toe Jordan 1 low. I believe there's they're calling it the Palomino. Paloma, not Palomino. Paloma, Jordan 1 OG high, which is like a white and brown. There's like a poor man's Gary Payton, black and purple. Like, that's either Bucks Gary Payton or that's Lakers. Yeah, but I mean, you can get away with either one, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, just like, is stuff like this the reason why the New Balance 9060 is like a shoe that I want? Because I really can't get excited over many of these shoes outside of like the playoff 8, because I've just always kind of. I'm never gonna wear it. I have Aqua 8s I never wear because they're not very comfortable. So
yeah, I mean, there's nothing eye-catching about this. Even the Burgundy 5, like you said, that was something from when we were kids. I look at it like, oh, cool. All right, next. It's like I don't want them. It's just nice to see them again. Only thing I want to really get my hands on is the 8s because I never had a pair of 8s, and this is a prime time. If it's going to be, the next 12 months would be the year to 8s. I'm impressed by that, but there's nothing else I care about on that list. I mean, if I trip, stumble, and fall upon the black toe lows, cool. Don't need them. Like, I think I might be one out unless I get, some of those ones I've been yearning for years. But other than that, I don't there's nothing here for me personally.
I mean, the 2s for me are one of those shoes that I respect its place in history, and I think it's got a revisionist bump as of recently because I think we've slowly tried to talk ourselves into liking the shoe because I believe it was a bit of a flop when it first came out, but I can't do it. Something about it just doesn't sit right with me, but I respect it. If you want to go get it, I will always give you guys my sneakers entry, my random draw entry, whatever the case may be, but the less 2s, the better for me, but I'm more intrigued by the fact that we get some 4 possibilities in the near future as well, because that's a shoe that I've been historically slept on, or have been sleeping on, that I'm hoping that I finally get my opportunity to kind of cash in on.
Yeah, I mean, there is a cool looking, like, chrome or metallic looking tooling, Jordan 4 with, like, a soft gray on there.
Yeah.
There's also a very interesting looking, like, I'm going to call it, not pistachio ice cream, I'm going to call it, like, nut ice cream. Color Jordan 3. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a soft, like, walnut or like a cashew brown.
Oh, it's the Palomino as well.
Very different look and execution. But you know, I'm talking about it's like a soft, like,
Yeah.
ice
That
cream
releases
flavor.
like this week or next week, I think, on sneakers.
Those are clean, man. And Rohit, I can also see you doing well in the like the white, black, and red Jordan 4.
Red cements is what they're calling it.
Yeah, red
wow.
cements. Those.
Yeah.
That's a really good looking shoe. Even to the point where I see the black military blues, military black. That makes no sense, but you know what shoe I'm alluding to. I'll see somebody wearing those randomly, and I'll be like, "Oh, those shits still look kind of cool. Like I like the way those look." I can see those red cements being a very similar
I'm not a
vibe to
fan
that.
of speckle for the sake of speckle. Like, I almost would like the shoe more if there wasn't the speckle there, but then that defeats the purpose. That's why it's not the red. It would be the red cement requires a speckle. So I'm going to stop saying the word speckle because I feel like it's that Ted Lasso episode where I just keep saying the same word over and over again and I lose the sound and the meaning of it. So
I mean, I don't. Only good. Like, besides that, they have that Jordan 1 low in the atmosphere, sail and whatever black. That one's pretty clean. But again, how many more Jordan 1s do we actually need? I mean, I hope that everybody who wants a Jordan 1 is able to get one because of the last few years. So I say let them eat. But I'll leave that to the people. And like I say, in the word of Rohit, if you guys need my entry on those, you got them because I don't need them.
Feels very particular about it, Michael, and that's okay. They're not for everybody. I mean, this.
Yeah.
It's definitely polarizing at this point because I'm looking through the options and I'm like, I like a lot of these. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like, in this economy, I can't be buying shoes like that. Like I can't be like, there's no space for me to go searching for a burgundy Jordan 5 when I have like 8 pairs of Jordan 5s back there already. Right? It's just like, you collect enough shoes, there's no more room for that same model anymore.
I mean, not only that, to your point, Robbie, as we get older, I don't know about you two, but I just kind of find myself saying, like, unless it's a 3, an 11, or the random 1 or 4, I'm pretty limited in what Jordans I'm considering. Just because I already have, like, a set of logic built in that I don't need to spend all my money on Jordan, because historically they tend to be a little bit more expensive than most Nike or any other basketball shoe offering. So, or that random 1 or 4 that pops out for me, I'm good. Like, take my entry, be happy, hope you hit, hope you get 2 pairs, because then that makes my life easier by association.
Yeah, and I run into that same deal, but mine comes into more of the, I guess I get hit with the nostalgia bug sometimes, like 17 lows coming out next year. I am going to try for the Lightning pair of 17 lows. Will I wear them? Yes. How many times? Probably not many, but that shoe, if they come out with the Cherrywood 16s, God bless, I am going to try to get those, even though they are literal Timberland boots. But it's a shoe I remember wanting as a kid, I just never got. And that's how I ended up buying certain Jordans, because it's like I remember things when I was a kid that I wanted. Now I have adult money to make poor decisions with sometimes, and that's what happens.
Mike doesn't smoke backwoods, but he wants a Cherrywood 30.
No,
and it's
16,
okay.
16.
16. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, there's like some 14s coming out next year too. I'm thinking of a different shoe. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. much like cocaine. If you're Charlie and Rick James, I just don't know, man. It's tough because like even this conversation about like multiple things, I still want the gold bullet Air Max 97, but everywhere is sold out in an oversized like 11, and I need a 13. So it's like, let me get that shoe. But
yeah, they're like 130 on Nike right now, and I keep looking at them like, do you need it? No. Do you want it? I kind of do.
no, I mean, I wore 97s. I wore a pair of Air Max 97s yesterday. Bringing it with me this weekend as the one pair of sneakers I'm bringing on my little weekend trip. One pair of sandals and a pair of Air Max 97s. What else do you need?
Nice.
Anywho, we digress. Listeners, thank you for being here. Let us know if you like Pepsi or Coke, Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, Air Jordan 5s or Air Jordan 4s. Do you like speckle on your shoes?
Speckle.
Favorite X-Men, favorite X-Villain. Like I said, I just want everybody to hit tomorrow because this collection, I'm sorry if this is almost coming off as, is it payola, plugola? It doesn't matter. Kip, hook your boys up. Get us a t-shirt.
Right?
Like, come on.
So I got to leave you guys with a funny story. So I was speaking of the X-Men. I was watching one of the guys on YouTube, Sean Go, and he hit on 3 on the early access. He bought them or whatnot. And he was like, the one I just do not want is the 1980s Wolverine. He just didn't like the color. He proceeds to open all 3 boxes with all 3 the same shoe. That same 80s Wolverine. And it was probably like the saddest I've seen a grown man on TV. It was ridiculous.
Well, that is the rarest one of the whole set. It's only like, so boo-hoo, he'll be able to get rid of those just fine.
He'll be all right.
Anywho, listeners, thank you for listening. Keep dreaming. Peace.
I believe the children are the future. Let them have.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.